If you're in the market for a USA-made tactical folder, but you're not quite sure where to start, this list is for you. Let's pledge allegiance to some of the best tactical pocket knives that money can buy right now. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the KnifeCenter, and welcome to the show. Now when we're talking about American-made tactical folding knives, there's a few names of people that we can't not mention when it comes to designers of these things. So we'll talk about those names first, shall we? And what better name to start with than Rick Hinderer. Now, Hinderer has been making knives for a long time. In fact, early on, you had to be a first responder or military to even get one of his knives. It is a little bit easier to get his knives nowadays than it once was. He makes his full high-end production stuff, as well as collaborations with companies like Zero Tolerance with the 393 right here. This knife is based on his Eclipse design, and it is a bit more attainable than some of the higher end pieces. Still costs a bit of money though. This is a $340 knife. Titanium handles, glow-in-the-dark carbon fiber inlays, 20 CV blade steel, 3.5 inches long. It's got that signature Sponto point that Hinderer uses on many of his designs, which is basically a straight clipped harpoon point here with a very robust saber height flat grind and a little bit of a compound bevel right there. Nice heavy working finish on this blade as well, so it is made to be used. Action is provided by ball bearings on this knife, meaning it flips open quite nicely. The lockup from Zero Tolerance's frame locks is very sturdy indeed, and it just sits in the hand so nicely. It is ready to strike, so to speak. Let's check out the glow in the dark here real quick. Take this opportunity to unveil our new official flashlight mascot, aka the glow in the dark tester, the Phoenix LR60R. 21,000 lumens on this. Let's see what it can do for these scales. I better shut my eyes here real quick. Everyone else shut your eyes too. Oh, that's hot. But I think it's gonna work. All right, that's off. There you go. Check out the green there. That's pretty cool, huh? It'll fade with a little bit, of course. It's not gonna last all night, but it's a fun little thing. Even without that though, fantastic knife. A couple other names we have to mention in this space: Mick Strider, Ernie Emerson, and Bob Terzuola. Longtime successful designers and makers of tactical folders, and it gives us a chance to look at ProTech as a brand. ProTech primarily makes automatic knives. They make a lot of their own great designs. The TR3 could be on this list, but we're going to focus on their collaborations with those three designers right there, because they're well deserving, and it's such a cool partnership. All of these fit really nicely together with ProTech. First is the PT Plus, a Mick Strider design. Interestingly enough, in 2025, their licensing agreement with Strider knives expired. So once these are gone, there aren't going to be any more, but it does give me an opportunity while we still have them to talk about the importance of Strider in the grander space of tactical folders. $250 for this one right here, which is a KnifeCenter exclusive with a crew wear blade, just over 3 inches long, and that signature kind of SNG style of shape. That's the original Strider model on which this is kind of derived. You've got 3.5 fingers in this back grip section, choke up point there with this guarded finger choil that you can get closer in. There used to be smaller versions. The original PT was smaller. The standard SNG is bigger, and the SNG XL, we actually have a few custom Mick Strider SNG XLs right now. You can see how that handle looks in a bigger format right there. But definitely highly regarded, highly influential knife design that is still being produced today, as we have said. Next up, Ernie Emerson with Emerson Knives. Their CQC7 design, highly regarded in tactical circles. And this is an automatic version from ProTech of that knife. 3.25 inch blade, 154 cm, $210. You've got a chisel ground Tonto blade here. That chisel grind is another signature Emerson element right there. Some say it makes the knife a little bit stronger, but in any case, you can get it right here. Now, this is an automatic, and it's a ProTech, So the automatic action is good and sounds good, feels good. But you've got a little hint of the kind of key Emerson contribution to the tactical knife space, and that would be the wave-shaped opener, the pocket deploying hook, essentially. We'll get some B-roll in here so you can see how those work. But essentially you draw it from your pocket, angle it so that hook catches the hem of your pocket, and it'll deploy the blade as you extract it. Makes this knife almost as fast as a quick access sheath for a fixed blade, which in tactical scenarios, that extra speed, quite an important thing indeed. Next up, Bob Terzuola with his ATCF design, here in collaboration again with ProTech. This one is a bit more EDC friendly than some, but carries all those hallmarks of early Terzuola tactical knife superiority. You've got a 3.5-inch drop point blade. It's in Magna Cut in this case. This one is a bit more of a special edition. There are some more plain Jane versions of these available if you don't want to spend the extra coin. This one is coming in at $865. You do have some upgraded handles here with White Storm fat carbon. You've also got hand engraved signature from Bob Terzuola himself there on the back. That's a pretty cool thing too. Again, great automatic action, agile handling, versatile blade here, not strictly tactical, I would say, or not constrained to tactical uses, I would say, but a phenomenal tactical design. Now, our newer name on this list, and someone who is who's absolutely crushing it lately, and is, I think, earning his place alongside these legends of tactical knife design, and that is Andrew Demko. Through all of his collaborative designs with Cold Steel and now his own Andrew Demko Knives stuff, absolutely phenomenal work going on. This is his full-size AD20. This one has the shark foot style blade. It's a sheep's foot blade, that kind of ties in product-wise to their shark lock here. Now, that blade shape may not be the strictly tacticalist blade shape in the world, but maybe, maybe not. It also is available with a clip point blade like this, as well as a few other blade shapes as well. But these are the two primary ones. This one is the AD20.5, the smaller version. This one's made in Taiwan, so that's why I had this one on the table, because this is a USA made list today. But that gives you the alternate blade shape when they are available. These are things that when they do become available tend to go pretty quickly, so keep your eye out on the site and our social media when they do hit. But for the full-size USA-made versions, you can get them with standard steels and G10 handles. That is going to be the least expensive way to get a full-size working AD20. This one right here is a more customized version. Different stuff going on with the blade finish. This one's actually hand ground by Andrew Demko himself. Fancier titanium embellishments on the handles as well, but they all have that shark lock right there. Incredibly strong, finger-safe closing, fidget-friendly, but it also locks your hand into a very poised position when holding the knife. Now, we've had a couple of fancier tactical knives here in a row. We'll look at one more before getting into some more, rugged things. The SHF folder, the Spartan Harsey folder from Spartan Blades. Bill Harsey, another one of those names that you just can't escape when you're talking about USA made and tactical. Often more associated with his fixed blade designs, I would say, but he also does folding designs as well, like this Spartan right here. This one has one of the special edition Viking longboat signatures or engravings on the front, Till Valhalla on the back. And this is also one of the special editions. We can't even tell you what price they are because we're not allowed to, but you can add it to your cart and see what price these have been discounted to. 4-inch blade here. This is S45 VN steel drop point blade, kind of like the Terzuola design. It's not completely restrained to just tactical usage, but this has very tactical DNA in its construction. And mainly that comes from it being overbuilt. You've got a strong frame lock for security. You've got an oversized pivot for, again, more strength right there. And you've got large thumb studs that make this an easy knife to open the blade. Even if you're wearing heavier pairs of gloves, that's gonna work quite nicely indeed. The next long-running successful tactical knife name is Tony Marfione, more closely or more commonly known under the brand name Microtech, however. Not everyone might know Tony Marfione, but everyone who's into tactical knives will know a Microtech. And the Socom folder here is a phenomenal long-running tactical design. They've kept up with the times with it. It's seen some updates over the years, but this is one of them right now. You can get it in a manual or a side-opening automatic version as well. A couple different blade shapes, this Tonto as well as a drop point are available. This one right here is about $329. You've got the 4-inch Tonto blade, partially serrated in this case, and M390 steel. Aluminum handles, traction inlays for extra grip. So you don't want to lose your grip on a knife in a tactical scenario for sure. One of the things I probably like the most about this design is this thumb ramp here right at the back. As opposed to, well, something like the Spyderco we'll look at in a minute that does have a thumb ramp. It's just part of the blade. With this Microtech, you get it as part of the handle and you get this nice wide contact patch. Gives you more traction while also being more comfortable in the long run too. Poises the blade very nicely indeed as well. Glass breaker at the back to keep things a little extra tactical, extra utility as well. Oversized thumb studs on this knife as well. Again, makes it easy to open, even with a pair of tactical gloves on. Of course, the automatic version with its push button automatic actuation is even easier, or maybe just as easy at the very least. The other thing I want to call to your attention with this knife right here is tip down carry with this knife. That's one thing where, they maybe haven't quite, quote unquote, kept up with the times, since many pocket knives, and in fact, most of the knives on this table come with tip down, tip up construction, tip down. Now, some will say that's actually faster than a tip down knife, unless you're talking a knife with the Emerson Wave, of course, because it requires less alteration of your grip when you draw the knife to get your hand into the ready position. Is that up for debate? One could say, but imagine if you're drawing it this way. You can probably only get to this amount of the knife in your handle, pull it out of the pocket, you got to rotate, slide it down, and that's kind of a vulnerable motion right there. Easy to drop the knife if adrenaline's flowing. Or if you grab the knife right here, your thumb is already where it's going to be when you're in the ready position. You just have to rotate it this way once and not readjust the positioning of the knife after that in order to get to the open position. You tell me, what do you guys think in the comments? One of the things this knife has in common with the previous two knives especially, slightly thicker blade stock than many folks would typically think of for everyday carry purposes. If you like a slicier knife, this thing is not quite it. This thing is going for more strength. It is leaning into that tactical purpose for sure. If you would like your tactical knife with a little bit more slicing potential, however, Spyderco would be where I would say you should take a look. And I want to specifically call out Sal Glesser here. We're talking about famous tactical knife designer names. Sal Glesser, the founder of Spyderco, doesn't always take the center limelight on his things. But one could argue he's done almost as much, if not even more, for tactical folding knives as a genre than any of these other designers right here. After all, Spyderco knives were the first pocket knives to feature pocket clips. They were also, with their signature one-hand opening hole here, the first folding pocket knives to feature or market one-hand opening blades. And nowadays, you pretty much can't have a tactical knife that doesn't have a one-hand opening blade and a pocket clip. It's part of the genre. It's baked into it, and who's more responsible for that than Sal Glesser? But let's talk about the military family here. We've got 2 or 3 knives actually here. This is the part where I don't drop the knives and cut myself. From bottom to top, you have the Military 2, you have the Paramilitary 2, and you have the Para 3. They are all kind of spins along the same shape, just different sizes. Let's start with the Military 2 because well, let's not do that. Let's start with the Paramilitary 2, just because I want to. This is probably a lot of people's ideal size in this military family. The blade itself is about 3.5 inches long. Not quite all that is sharpened because you have that guarded finger choil here at the front, which means you can choke up and get a little closer on the blade, but you can also choke back in the standard section and still have a full grip with the PM2. This version with digital camo or digicamo scales and S45 VN steels coming in about $213 and some change. That's with the black coated blade here. And speaking of that, a little bit thicker at the spine, but tapers all the way out towards the tip. So you get a fairly narrow cross section there at the point itself. This is not going to be as tough or as robust of a tip as this similarly steeled S45VN Spartan Harsey folder right here, So you get to kind of choose which direction you would like to go with these. This thing is a little more slicey, still pretty decently strong, but absolute ultimate tip strength is not what this knife is going for. 4-position pocket clip means you can carry it any way you like, and the lock of this knife is the ultra strong compression lock here at the back. It is ultra strong, as mentioned. It gives you finger safe closing as well. Nice snappy action when you go to actuate the knife, thanks to the detent on that lock right there. Overall, just works very, very well across a broad range of spectrum. Again, not just tactical uses. If you want more size, you can go with the Military 2. This version right here is actually one of these sprint runs in 15V steel. But that's the cool thing about all of this, this whole Military family, is there are a ton of options to choose from. This one right here, about 241 and some change with a 4-inch blade, tons of reach, and a little bit more of an aggressive angle than the smaller 2 knives right here. The blade kicks down a little more aggressively or a little more extremely, but that makes it a little easier to kind of point forward and strike what you need to target. But even the smallest version of this knife, the Para 3, is very capable given its size. 3-inch blade. This one is a Maximet steel version, about 265, but these are available in kind of the low 100 range for the starting point for some of the FRN versions of these. But I like the G10 handled versions of them because you still get a super solid grip, a smaller, more manageable blade, and even though the angle is not quite as aggressive as the Military 2, because the tip itself drops down the way it does, it kind of does the same thing. It points forward a little more naturally than the middle child here does, which is not to say it's bad at that sort of thing, but you know, the 2 extremes of the sizes lean into that a little bit more. Next up, the Yojimbo 2. This is a design by Michael Janich, and amongst all the knives on the table, possibly with a little bit of the exception of the Emerson there, who did some training, of course, in close quarters combat, Michael Janich is an expert at close quarters self-defense, and specifically and additionally the usage of knives in those scenarios. And this is his premier tactical folding knife design. 3.2-inch S30V blade, pure aggressive Wharncliffe right there. Hollow ground, so you have a very acute tip. Again, you're not going to wedge this into something and go prying with it, but that is a very, very pierceable thing going on right there. It's also designed to work in all kinds of different grips, included the inverted grip right here, reverse grips, of course, getting your thumb out there towards the front. And these are all, you know, things that can come in handy when you're using the knife in a utility shaped fashion, because it will do those things too. But these are made for purpose, designed for purpose, and that's designed to keep you safe in a pinch. Like the Military family, we've got a 4-position clip and the compression lock there. Nice big opening hole there. Makes it easy to open and get it to bear when you need it. All right, those are the names we're talking about. Anyway, let's get to some, if you want something that is more robust, I've got a few like overbuilt tactical folders to take a look at next. The SOG Seal XR Flipper. This is a 4-inch blade. You can get it in S35 VN steel or MagnaCut, which will give you greater toughness compared to the S35. Edge retention probably is not going to be dramatically different between the two. And the S35 VN version, I think, is still going to be plenty tough because look how thick that blade steel here is. Again, if you want slicey, maybe go with one of the Spydercos. If you want thick and overbuilt, go with the Demko or the Harsey, the Hinderer, even the ZT at the beginning, or one of these. This thing is a beast. And I would argue at $225, the S35 VN version is a better deal than the MagnaCut version. That one's coming in at about $300. But you can take your pick. Either one will, of course, be very, very good. Got a very thick handle here, gives you plenty of meat to hold onto, and jimping all the way around and up onto the spine. The chances of you losing your grip on this knife are slim. As long as you can maintain your grip, the knife is not going to slip out accidentally. Persuader tool there at the back for persuading, don't you know? And a crossbar lock, allowing ambidextrous operation and finger safe closing action. Nice flipping action is achieved with this crossbar lock, which is harder to do than you might think, but they do a very good job. Nice oversized pocket clip on this as well to give you plenty of retention, and that is reversible. This whole knife right here, this is the leftiest, friendliest knife we've looked at so far on the table. I will say, however, there are some left-handed versions of the military or the Paramilitary 2 that you could get your hands on, so that's an option. Next up, the Benchmade Adamas. Now, there are a ton of Benchmades we could have put on this list. The AFO2 automatic, the Claymore Auto, the Presidio 2, the Bailout, even if you want a slim, concealable tactical knife. Tons of options, but in the end, I had to put the Adamas on this knife because this has, this is a folding knife, but it has kind of the soul of a frontline combat knife. It feels like a quote-unquote folding K-bar in a way. This is also available in a smaller size in addition to this 3.8-inch blade. It's a full-size version. It's also available manual or automatic if you'd like to go it that way. This one with the manual action is about $325. The blade steel is crew wear, so it is nice and tough. A little bit slimmer than the blade steel on that SOG we just looked at, but the crew wear is going to give you more toughness than the S35VN. And it's going to slice a little better too, but it is still a very robust feeling blade and handle when you need to grip that knife. Plenty of length there. I do have slightly larger than average hands, and even if I were wearing gloves, I would still have more than enough room on this handle. Nice finger guard there at the front to keep you from sliding forward onto this partially serrated edge. Plain edge also available. We've also got the crossbar lock that works really, really satisfyingly well, and fully ambidextrous controls for righty or left-handed operation. Next up, the Gerber 06 Auto. A little bit slimmer on the blade again, but another knife that has a handle and pivot construction that feels extremely, extremely solid. Tanto or drop points are available for this. We've got S30V steel, 3.8 inches long, about 220 for this version right here with the black G10 and black handle, or a black coated blade. My only gripe with this knife would be the pocket clip tends to be a little bit slim. I'd love to see a little more kind of capacity in that regard. But this is a knife that has been proven in military circles to be very, very durable, and it keeps on ticking. The S30V is going to provide you good edge retention. You've got automatic action. You've got a safety switch there, which is going to keep you from accidentally disengaging it when the blade is open. It's also going to keep you from accidentally firing the blade when it's not. But once you're ready to go, it is also ready to go. Glass breaker or skull crusher there on the back as well. Slightly more compact in the hand if you need a roomier handle. The Adamas or the Seal that we just looked at are going to offer you a little bit more. But if your hands would fit in something like this size right here, exceptional feel in the hand. Next up, we haven't talked about Hogue yet. Hogue has been making knives for a bit over 10 years now. Expanded from their engineering background. They're probably more popularly known for the grips they make for firearms. And this is a knife that kind of encapsulates that part of their history as well. This is a SIG branded knife. Hogue works with SIG on these knives, and they make the grips for the Hogue or the SIG pistol that this knife is based on, and the grips match the inlays, or the inlays match the grips on this knife right here. This is the K320. They come in about, this version right here comes in a bit over $200. The injection molded versions of this start a bit over that $150 mark, but the aluminum with the inlays do bump the price up a bit. S30V steel, 3.5 inches long, drop point or tanto is available. Sturdy enough, but slim enough to use every day, not just in a tactical scenario. And you can choose the plain edge or the partially serrated edge here as well. We have got ambidextrous operation with the crossbar lock there. We've got a really nice pocket clip with these extra little flares on it. Makes it easy to grab onto. Again, even if you've got a pair of gloves on, where other pocket clips might become slick, you've got extra traction to bring the knife to bear very quickly. It's also got the ability to carry the knife tip down, which, as we talked about before, might be even faster in a tactical scenario. On top of that, I don't know if I forgot to mention it yet or not, also available in automatic format if you would like that type of action. And speaking of, we're gonna end with one last auto. This is on the slightly more affordable side for an American-made automatic, the Launch 16 from Kershaw. Kershaw is the parent brand of the more premium Zero Tolerance that we started this video with. So it feels like a good way to end the video. About 150 bucks for this knife. 3.5 inch Tonto blade M4 steel. Tontos, we haven't really talked about that yet at this point in the video, but the primary purpose there is to have a more robust tip for thrusting, not necessarily a better piercing tip, but a stronger tip. So they've paired this already stronger blade style with M4 blade steel to really ramp up the toughness. M4 is not a stainless, but it does hold an edge well, but its real calling card is its combination of edge holding with high toughness. So it's a really good choice here. And they didn't have to go as thick on the blade stock to maintain that toughness as well, meaning it is a better slicer for daily usage. Deep carry pocket clip here, traction, rubberized traction inlays for grip on the front and back, and push the button, and their action on the Launch series is quite good. Agile feeling, stable in the hand, plenty of handle length, great toughness qualities to the blade there. It's gonna be real hard to beat, quite honestly, for an American-made knife at the $150 price point. Well, that is all I've got to talk about today. Let me know what you thought. Did you find something that piqued your interest? If you've been in the market for a USA-made folder, which one of these interests you now? Or if you didn't want a USA-made folder for tactical purposes before, do any of these pique your interest now either? Anyway, let me know in the comments, and to get your hands on any of them, check out the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. Where if some of these feel a little bit more expensive than you might like, you can break up payments into 4 easy chunks thanks to our new Sezzle option. And don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can earn some free money to spend on your next purchase. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's all for now. Signing off. See you next time.